السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Inshallah, today I'll talk about the importance of keeping our masjid, our religion, and the Quran close to us even after the month of Ramadan. As I'm sure we've all come to know throughout the past Ramadans that we've been able to experience, when Ramadan comes, we increase our acts of worship, we increase our devotion to Allah. Whether we read more Quran, we show for Taraweeh, we try to guard our tongues, guard our chastity, all these types of things. We refrain from doing the things that are bad and we do more good. And in doing so, we increase our piety. And what happens after Ramadan, unfortunately, is that sometimes we don't actually keep those acts going. And I'm not saying that, show up every night, pray for an hour, pray for 2 hours. That's usually not feasible for most of us. Most of us can do is little things here and there. But what I am saying is that at least something should linger after. Something. Even if it's something small, it should linger after. But because if the person you are after Ramadan and the person you are before Ramadan, if there is no difference between the person after and the person before, then you have to ask yourself, was there really an impact that Ramadan had on you? Or are you the same person you were before? Are you the same person that you were before? And if anyone asked, how could Ramadan change us? It's a pretty simple answer. In Ramadan, what happens to us? We eat less, we sleep less, we drink less. We're not allowed to fulfill our desires as we please. There are barriers to doing so. And what happens? We're still expected to output the same amount of work. You're still expected to show up to work. You're still expected to show up to school. You're still expected to pray your prayers. And on top of that, you do more. You end up doing more. Like this right here, showing for Tarawih, you're doing more than you usually would while having less. And a blessing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us through this act of fasting is that our willpower goes up. Because now you're in a more uncomfortable situation. You're in a worse situation, but you're expected to do just as much, if not more. And because of this, your mental strength goes up, your willpower goes up. But if you don't capitalize on this after Ramadan, then what is the purpose of you fasting so much if you don't change your targets? If you don't become a better Muslim? If you don't change the habits you have? And if someone asked, what can happen if we don't show up to the masjid as much? If we don't seek after Allah as much? If we don't bother with the Quran as much as we did in Ramadan? Let me tell you a story from what was recited today, where Musa alayhi salam and his followers had a bit of an ugly confrontation. Musa alayhi salam had the blessing of talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on Mount Sinai for 40 nights. And during this time, he left his followers in the charge of Harun alayhi salam, his brother, another prophet. And during these 40 nights, what had happened was that these people, the followers, started worshipping a calf. They worshipped an animal, and what they did was they did shirk, the biggest sin known to man. They started committing it. Within the course of 40 nights, you'd expect, it would take months, years, decades. No, it took 40 nights. Now I ask all of you, what could happen to us if we start fleeing away from what we used to do? I'm not saying that, as I said before, I'm not saying, do everything you used to do before. If before Ramadan you weren't a hafiz, after Ramadan you become a hafiz. I'm not saying that. I'm saying at least something should linger. Some habits. So I stand here on this minbar and I'm asking all of you, build on those habits. It could be reading Quran. It could be doing more dhikr. It could be being kinder to others. It could be controlling your anger more. It could be showing up to the masjid more, showing up for Fajr Salah, showing up for Isha Salah, showing up for something, helping out the community more. Something is always better than nothing. And through this, I ask all of you, and I urge all of you, as I urge myself, when we look at ourselves 5 years from now, a couple years from now, we think we're going to go here, we're going to go there, we're going to become this, we're going to become that. But the reality of it is unless we change something about ourselves, unless we work towards that today, now, tomorrow, we keep working at that, we're going to be the same person we are now as the same person we are in those couple of years. In the same way, I ask you, are you going to be the same person you are at the end of Ramadan as you were before Ramadan? Are you going to be in a different situation or are you going to be in the same situation? And with this, I'm going to end off and I'm going to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us all people that are pleased with Him, make us all people that are better than we were before, and to make us all people that are able to see His beautiful face. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.